Today we'll break down who actually pays the majority of America's taxes and why people earning millions often pay a smaller percentage than teachers, nurses, or middle-class tech workers. Who pays a higher tax rate, a school teacher or a millionaire? Most people would guess the millionaire, but you might be surprised. In 2025, America's federal income tax has 7 brackets: 10%, 12%, 22%, 24%, 32%, 35%, and 37%. The more you earn, the higher your bracket. That's called a progressive system. But here's where the magic begins. Those percentages apply only to your taxable income, what's left after deductions and write-offs, and that's where the gap between ordinary Americans and millionaires really opens up. The truth is, the average American pays more in taxes than most people realize. For regular workers, teachers, nurses, engineers, anyone earning a paycheck, taxes are taken out automatically before that money even reaches their bank account. Every 2 weeks, your employer withholds several types of taxes: federal income tax, based on your salary bracket; Social Security tax, 6.2%, which funds retirement benefits; Medicare tax, 1.45% for healthcare for seniors; and, depending on where you live, state taxes, anywhere from 3% to 8%. When you add it all up, it's a pretty big chunk. Someone earning $70,000 a year ends up paying roughly 22% to 25% of their income in total taxes. That means, out of every $100 earned, only about $75 actually stays in your pocket. And here's the key part. Most of these taxes are automatic. You don't get to choose when or how to pay them. You can't defer them, invest them, or write them off. For most Americans, taxes are simply part of every paycheck. Meanwhile, the wealthy play by a different set of rules. They don't get taxed when they earn, they get taxed when they decide to take profits. And that's the difference between paying what you owe and knowing how to owe less. Have you ever wondered why some millionaires pay a smaller tax rate than the people who work for them? It's not magic, it's math. Most Americans earn a salary, and salaries can be taxed up to 37%. But the wealthy earn capital, profits from stocks, real estate, and businesses. And when those profits are held for more than a year, they're taxed at just 15%. Let's put that into real life. Meet Anna, a nurse from Texas. She earns $80,000 a year working full-time at a hospital. Each paycheck already has taxes automatically deducted: federal income tax, Social Security, Medicare, and a small state tax. By the end of the year, Anna pays roughly $18,000 in total taxes. That's about 22 to 23% of her income. Now meet Michael, an investor. He doesn't earn a paycheck. Instead, he makes $500,000 in a year selling stocks. Because that money is considered capital gains, not earned income, it's taxed at only 15%. So his total bill to the IRS is about $75,000. Here's where it gets interesting. Michael earned over 6 times more money than Anna, but he paid only 4 times more in taxes. And when you calculate the effective tax rate, Anna gives up about a quarter of every dollar she earns, while Michael gives up only 15 cents on the dollar. On top of that, Michael can legally reduce his taxes even further. He can donate to charity for deductions, write off investment losses, or even borrow money against his stock portfolio, which doesn't count as income at all. So while Anna works 12-hour shifts and pays her taxes automatically, Michael's wealth grows faster, his taxes stay lower, and he has more control over when and how he pays. It's not illegal, it's simply how the rules are written. And in America's economy, the biggest advantage isn't how hard you work. It's how well you understand the tax code. The U.S. tax code is over 70,000 pages long, and hidden inside are dozens of perfectly legal ways to reduce or delay paying taxes. Here are some of the most common ones. Carried interest. This rule lets investment fund managers classify their income not as salary, but as capital gains. That simple label cuts their tax rate from 37% down to 15%. Depreciation. Real estate investors love this one. They claim a paper loss each year for property wear and tear, even when the property's value is actually going up. It shrinks their taxable income while their assets grow. Loans against assets. Instead of selling stocks or real estate and paying tax, The wealthy often borrow against those assets. A loan isn't considered income, so it's not taxable, yet they still get to spend the cash. And finally, donor-advised funds. By donating a portion of their wealth into charitable accounts, they get huge tax deductions immediately, while deciding later when the money actually goes to charity. According to the IRS, Internal Revenue Service, the top 1% of Americans pay about 40% of all federal income taxes, but their effective tax rate averages around 23%, while the middle class pays 25 to 27% on their salaries. And some billionaires in certain years paid no federal income tax at all, because their wealth grew on paper, but they didn't actually sell their assets. Most of these loopholes are completely legal mechanisms written into the law itself. The wealthy simply play by the rules they often help create. But to ordinary Americans, the system feels unfair. If I pay a third of my salary in taxes and a billionaire pays less than a quarter, then who's the real taxpayer here?